Hello. Welcome to another episode of Shit's Hard. I'm your host, Amber, and today we are talking about how to be your authentic self on the internet. I really don't want to be making an episode right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know why. This is my day to record, but I just got back from a trip, and so my recordings were off, so I quickly made a video the other day. And I usually really don't prep a lot of my content ideas. Everyone's like, oh, how do you talk for that long? Do you make an outline, whatever? Yes, I do make an outline and I do usually roughly follow it, but usually I don't make the outline until right before I'm about to record. I like the ideas to be fresh. I like it to be whatever's kind of pissing me off that week or whatever's affecting me at that point in time. And I'm not feeling burnt out. I'm just feeling like the idea box is empty. There's no thoughts in my brain. I feel like sometimes I have a really good video idea and then I make the video and I edit the video. I'm like, that's such a good idea. And then, one of my friends will be like, that was a really good episode. This is one of those where I feel like it's not going to be a good episode, which is fine, right? Because I'm trying to come to terms with the fact that every episode is not going to be my favorite. Every episode is not going to be perfect. As long as I'm putting stuff out there that I believe in and whatever, that's the important part. But it's annoying because I have this kind of perfectionism issue with wanting things to be perfect and curated, which is also kind of ironic because that's not really me at all. And so the inspiration that came from this video was I was sitting outside and I was like, I don't really want to make a video and I don't really know what to talk about. And I was like, let me put my phone away, sit in the sun for 15 minutes and, see if something will come to me. And all that came to me was that I didn't want to make a video. And then I was like, I should make a video about that. And so my idea was this. I was like, okay, so my goal, right, is to be authentic on the internet. My goal is to translate and be the same person in person as I am on the internet and kind of make a very casual space where we can just talk about shit that's hard, right? That's the goal. I'm like, well, this is hard. Making this episode is hard right now. Getting myself to do this is hard. I think one thing about content is you're really your own boss. You manage yourself. And, sometimes I want to give myself a day off. And that's a difficult thing about content, I've realized, is trying to pump out content all the time is there is no days off. And anytime you're not posting and you're not keeping up, you feel like you're falling behind and you need to be pumping stuff out. And it feels like this little hamster wheel. And there's so many pros and cons, right? I feel like I see content about people who are influencing is so easy. And I feel okay, so Brandflakes is a TikTok account that I just started seeing his stuff more recently. And he's been making a lot of content about how he became a content creator, how you can too. And he said something that made so much sense. He was being an influencer is not hard. Becoming one is incredibly hard. And I think that makes so much sense and answers so many questions because it's once you get there and you get the following and you start getting the brand deals, you can kind of keep it going. But before you're there, it's hard to get that, push that, get that thing moving. And I definitely feel that way. I've been making content for a minute and, I can sit around and braid myself and be like, oh, I haven't been that consistent. I haven't been this, I haven't been that, whatever. I try not to lean into that because, well, for one, it's not helpful. I can't go back and change anything. I can only change how I operate going forward. And I want to do that. I want to, I don't know. It's sometimes I'm stuck between oh, mental health is important. And if I'm having a day, I don't have to record. And then I'm also stuck between well, I want to be consistent and I want to be pumping out content. And if I want to be successful, I need to push myself. And also, what's wrong with coming on here and just being authentic and being I don't fucking want to make this video. But also the other day, one of my clients found my TikTok, which this happens every so often, where they'll find my account and they'll be like, I saw your TikTok, whatever. And then we'll talk about it for a little bit. And she was like, you know what I really like about your account? And I was like, what? And she was like, it's you. That's you. She was watching your videos and stuff. that's like the same way you talk to me in training. Like you're the same person on social media as you are in real life. And I just felt like so good because I was like, obviously, when you're doing social media and you're pushing out content, there can be so many like quantifiable metrics that I feel like I'm not hitting, and I don't have enough followers, and I don't have enough engagement and like monetizing. But that's a goal that I set for myself that isn't really quantifiable, but it felt really good to have somebody else validate that that's what I'm doing. Because I was like, oh, like, maybe I am good at this. Maybe I don't suck. And we had a really good conversation because she's actually done some content stuff, and she does all of hers like kind of like, I don't want to say under an alias, but like not like her face and her name aren't associated with it. And so we kind of talked about the difference in that because obviously my face and my brand and my name are like all over my stuff. And I was like, oh, I feel like that's kind of nice. I feel like it might be easier to be yourself if it's like not associated with who you are in real life. And, we kind of talked about that, but also like the fear of being perceived exists for all of us, even if it's behind a different screen name, and being authentic and being yourself and whatever. So, it was a good conversation, and we kind of talked about like, okay, sorry, my dog just fucking started like throwing up or whatever the fuck. I don't know what she was doing. That was stressing me out. She was like hiccuping, and then it sounded like she was going to throw up. I don't know. She just went outside, ate some grass. Now she's laying down. But anyways, where were we? We were talking about being yourself on the internet and how that can be difficult and kind of what kind of audience do you draw. So I mentioned to her that if you scroll down, I unpin these videos now on my TikTok, but I have 2 videos that are over like 8 million views. And I'm like not necessarily proud of them. Don't get me wrong, like they're whatever videos. I'm not like upset that they're there. Obviously I could delete them, but they're just like very like funniest at home videos, like stupid, funny stuff that like was only ever going to go viral once. And the comments on them aren't really great. And it's just like not the kind of engagement that I would want. Especially if I want to make a career out of this, or if I'm trying to build a community of like-minded people who care about mental health, like that's not the way to do it. And so I realized that I was like, oh, like, I have all these views and this engagement, but like, I didn't want that to go viral. Like, that's not helpful. And now I feel like that I've been posting more authentic stuff that aligns more with me and the podcast and like mental health and stuff. I feel like my views have gone down, and like I'm kind of trapped in this like fucking 400, 500 view bubble, which is kind of fucking annoying. And I'm like, oh, should I try new things? Like, whatever. It's like, I feel like I have my niche, right? And if you listen to the first season of this podcast, you'll feel this with me, that feels very good to say, because certainly when I started this podcast, I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Where is this going? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 20 something. I feel like I want to make content. I don't know what about, like, whatever. I was like, I feel like I have this drive, but I don't know where to aim it. Like, and I was just like, fuck anyone who's born knowing what they want to do. Cause like, that's not me. And I feel like now I have come a long way, and through creating more content, I've kind of discovered what I care about and what's my message and what do I want to do and what's the point in all of this? What's the point in these videos? And truthfully, it's just like community. It's just connecting to other people and hopefully creating a safe space where other people can like feel heard or feel seen or feel understood or be in the pursuit of like growth. And to be honest with you, like that's not the kind of stuff that's probably going to go like mega viral, right? Like I'm probably with that niche not going to be like fucking 11 million followers, like whatever, which I'm not saying, like I'm not trying to manifest that and be like, oh, I'm saying like I don't really care much for that. Like the amount of followers is not really important to me. It's more so like I would like I'd love to have the goal to have like 1 million, right? And like have like a community of people who like care about this kind of stuff and care about me and are interested in being a better person. And I know that stuff is not like clickbaity. It's not like, fucking, like I have an episode on here called like, don't move in with your situationship. And that's like my best video on here. We can see why, right? Like it's clickbaity, it's whatever. And, I'm like, I feel like I'm towing the line between like trying to get on the algorithm side and get picked up and like get more viewership, but also trying to like stay authentic and be real. And I feel like it's a hard line to toe. I was watching this interesting video of this creator, and she was talking about, which I love her authenticity, mind you. Like, I'm not here to judge, but she was talking about how her and her partner, um, her and her husband and their kids and whatever, they moved into a pretty large house and took on a mortgage of $45,000 a month. And I just was like, holy fucking shit. Like, that's insane. A month. God damn, I can't even wrap my mind around that. That's so crazy. But she was being so real and she was being so honest, and she was talking about why. And she was like, to be honest with you, we knew that our views would go up if we had a really huge, big house to create content in. And we also knew that partnerships and brand deals would be more brands and higher end brands would want to work with them if they created this luxurious, content in this beautiful house. And like, she was not wrong for that. Like, she was right. I think it's just like, watching that video, I was like, that's not what I want. And again, I'm not here to shit on her. Like, honestly, get your bag, get your brand. Like, they're probably making good as fuck money. But like, for me, like, I'm not really interested in the money. I'm not really interested in being like a mega fucking creator, like an ultra celebrity. Like, I want to make money off of this so I can have like a life and like pay to live. But that's it. Like, I'm not trying to become a millionaire. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more so interested in like helping people, connecting to people on a larger scale than just my micro community. It means so much to me when somebody comments on one of my YouTube videos that I don't know, that like lives in like another country. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like, we're able to connect because of this content and this content alone, right? Like, and so I feel like that it was an interesting video. I like the rise of authenticity on social media. I do feel like, as a fucking, media consumer myself, I also get very tired. I feel like we're all getting very tired of like the very curated aesthetic content being fed to me on a silver platter. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you have a niche, even if you're like fucking mega rich, like there's this girl who she's like, I guess she's funny because this is like not real, but she made a video saying like what I spend as a trust fund baby on like my like allowed $80K a month or whatever the fuck. And she said in the comments, she was like, this isn't real. Like, I'm not a trust fund baby. Like, I don't have $80K a month, but it got so much views. It got like so many views. And that's like, obviously, like, I watched the fucking video and I was like, oh, what are you up to with fucking $80K a month? Like, that's crazy. And so it's just like, it's interesting, right? And I don't want to damn dog. I don't want to like create something on the internet that isn't true. Like, I don't have like the desire, to be completely honest with you. I don't have the motivation. Like, I don't have the work ethic to like fabricate something on the internet, because it just sounds like kind of exhausting, a little bit taxing. Like, to be completely honest with you, before I made this video, I was like, I don't even feel like putting on makeup. And then, I was like, okay, I do feel like I'll feel a little more confident if I put on some, tinted moisturizer, my eyebrow gel, I curled my lashes, but like, that's it. And like, I've had this thought in my mind, right? Of like, should I put on a full face of makeup when I record? And would that help me get more views if my thumbnail is like a little more beautiful, if I whiten my teeth, if I, edit my skin, will the algorithm be more likely to pick me up if I'm looking presentable? And the same goes for, I have an episode called misogyny and whatever the fuck and why I don't take male clients, and in that video I'm wearing this red sports bra that's very low cut, and I'm not gonna lie, like, the girls look good. And it's in the back of my mind like, oh, did that video do good because the content's good, or did that video do good because I was wearing that sports bra? And like, I wasn't even wearing that sports bra as like a test. I really was wearing it because I was gonna go do yoga after. But like, it's like I'm constantly towing the line and thinking like, should I be prioritizing, how I look and how I dress and all this kind of stuff? Or it's like, do I want to come in here and appear as my authentic self? Because to be honest with you, on a day-to-day basis, like, not every day, but like my typical go-to casual fucking Wednesday, if I'm just going to a coffee shop and like vibing and wanting to look cute, is, well, first of all, it's this outfit. I'm always in like flared leggings or some kind of flared pant. I'm always in like this little like wider tank top. I actually had a friend give this shirt to me because she was like, it just looks like something you'd wear. And I have like 100 tops that look like this. And like a zip up. Like, that's the look. And it's usually tinted moisturizer, eyebrow gel, and like maybe mascara. Like that's me, like day to day. So I'm like, okay, putting on a full face would be inauthentic. That's not real. And I also think if I keep doing something that feels inauthentic every time I record, it's going to feel like the podcast is inauthentic, and I'm probably not going to feel motivated to do it anymore. Like today, I didn't really feel motivated, but I was like, all right, you're already dressed, you'll feel better with some tinted moisturizer. Just set up and record, versus like, oh, you need to put on a full face of makeup. Oh, you need to be in a very flattering top. Like, oh, I needed to curl my hair. Like that would make me fucking hate this. And I think, one, I don't want to make myself fucking hate this because then I'll quit. Two, I don't want to appear as like inauthentic on the internet. I don't want to build a personality and make people like me off of something that isn't even me. And that would feel shitty, having an audience that likes you based on a character instead of who you are, Like, and so I don't know. I'm overthinking these things, obviously. But I'm like trying to be myself, but then I'm also like, well, how's that panning out for you? Not well. Which it's also like, but I'm trying to build an empire here, like Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm trying to like build something, that's like of high quality, and that takes time, versus like the quick fix. Like, anybody who got famous overnight didn't find anything sustainable. We look at Hawk Tuah girl who, like, I think she moved to LA after that, and it's like, now what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. I would rather build something sustainable and long-term, rather than, back in the day when you get your one shot on Ellen and that's it. Remember that one guy from Target, like Alex from Target, who went on Ellen? Like, what was happening in the world? That was crazy. I don't want that to be me. So I feel like I'm trying to make these little micro decisions, even when I make TikToks, of like, this is really what my skin looks like. This is really what my hair looks like. This is really what I looked like today. I made a video like earlier today of me like just walking my dog, and like that's genuinely something I was going to do either way. So I feel like that's kind of how I'm trying to make content work for me, is like, what am I already doing? And like, if you've ever seen a cooking video of mine, I cook a lot. That's something I already do. Whether I'm recording or not, I'm always cooking. And so that's like very real for me. Whereas like putting on a full face of makeup isn't really me. Getting dressed like nice isn't really me. I'm in loungewear most of the time. I mean, I'm a fucking trainer. Like, come on. But so it's like, I feel like that's where I'm trying to make these micro decisions of authenticity. And it meant a lot to me that my client said that message is getting across, and that my TikTok, really is me, especially coming from somebody who like, she knows me, right? But she's not like my best friend or like anybody I've known for a long time. And so it meant a lot that she like could see that in person and on my TikTok. I felt good about that anyway. So I'm just trying to be consistent. I'm trying to post daily on TikTok. It's fucking brutal. I think what sucks about TikTok is like, okay, so I do feel like sometimes I like long-term content better because this feels easier for me. This feels like doable. Even when I like kind of don't feel in the mood, like I can do this. Short form content is just a beast of its own. It's like every single video I'm making, like let's say I have what I want to talk about, right? Like I want to talk about building community. I want to talk about like it takes a village or whatever. It's like on TikTok, you no longer can just be storytelling. You have to be telling two stories at once. You have to be doing your makeup at the same time, cooking at the same time as telling the story. So people have something to watch, and then they have a different story to like listen to at the same time, because our fucking attention span is absolutely fucked. And it's like I'm trying to keep up, and also like there is things that I do, right? Like I do my nails, I do cook, and so it's like it's not like these things are inauthentic, but it's more like, I don't know, so many fucking moving parts to think about versus just sitting down and hitting record, which you can do. You can just sit down and hit record. There's this one content creator that I like who he's always just drinking his coffee in his mug in a mug in his car and talking, and I feel like even if he didn't make content, he would be having his mug coffee in his car. Like that's his thing. So it comes off as very authentic because it probably is. Like he's genuinely enjoying his coffee every morning. And so for me, it's like I'm trying to find that puzzle piece of like the rhythm in my life and like how does content fit into my life? How do I fit my life into content? But it's fucking rough. Like being yourself on the internet is hard. I feel like I have a very disconnect from the internet where like I don't feel like the internet is real. It kind of like, it does make me laugh. Like when a client comes in and is like, I saw your TikTok. Cause I kind of like forget a lot of the times that people in real life can see me on the internet. Because I try to train my brain that like I don't want to censor what I say or be so afraid of what everyone is thinking about me that I don't say what I want to say. You know what I mean? There's this movie that I really like. It's called The Luckiest Girl Alive. I think it's really good. I've watched it like twice. It's Mila Kunis. It's very like thriller, suspense, like tragedy. It's a wild it's a wild watch. But not to spoil it, but in the end, she's like an editor and she wants to tell her traumatic story as an editor, but she's like anxious about like, oh, what will so-and-so think about it? What will so-and-so think about it? What will my mom think? What will my family think? Like, what is everyone going to say about me finally telling my story publicly? And it's been like decades since like this traumatic thing happened. And like the media has been like trying to get her to tell her story, but she won't not because she doesn't want to, but because she's afraid of what everyone else will think. And it was a good movie for other reasons. It's just a good movie. But that message really stuck out to me because I was like, I feel like that's something I struggle with is like there is content coming out of my asshole, like literally with mental health, with like parent relationships, family dynamics, like all kinds of, friendships, community, all this shit. Like I have so many things to talk about, so many thoughts, so many, like this is my life's passion. People, mental health, like that's what I care about. Connection to self is really important to me. Promoting other people to connect more to themselves is like the holy grail for me. But it's like, how do I do that and talk about these things in an authentic space, in like unfiltered, unapologetically, without thinking about what's so-and-so going to think, like I've had a lot of my own shit happen to me, just like everybody else. I have my, I'm a character and I have my little movie that I'm living. And every day is like a new scene. But like I struggle, right? Like, my ex best friend moved in with my ex-boyfriend. That was hard for me. And like, I still have a lot of love for her and I care about her a lot as a person. So I don't want to make content that makes her feel shitty about herself. But also like this was a very real emotional thing that happened to me and my feelings are important. And I want to create, like, I'm not saying I want to create content about that because it's like, that was a while ago. But like, I want to be able to talk about it openly on the internet. And if anybody else can relate, hopefully they'll feel a little seen and heard without also like tearing her down. Cause like, that's not my intention, right? Like I don't really have a lot of hate for anybody that I once loved. Like, my ex, I don't hate him. I'm not here to like shit on anybody or create a pity party and be like, feel bad for me or like, fuck this guy. It's not that at all. But it's more like I have feelings. These things make me feel a certain way. Like same thing with my mom talking about mommy issues and like that last video that I made. And it's like, sometimes I really like, when I record, I'm pretty authentic and then I go back and edit and I'm like, fuck, like, do I want to say this? Do I want to put this out there? But it's like, yes, like I said it for a reason. That's how I feel. And I'm trying to toe the line between like, I'm not here to offend anybody or make anybody feel shitty. But if you're a person in my life and you're listening to this video and you're like, oh, fuck, she's talking about me. Like, that's just how I feel, And that's a really good thing I was talking to my client about. She makes content about like, she was making these little journals and she was making like journals from not from scratch, but she was like decorating them and selling them on Etsy. And then a lot of her content was like journal entries and stuff. And I was like, oh, look, girl, those are your real journal entries. Because it just, I don't know, it looked good. Like, honestly, the content was good. Editing style was good. And I was like, this looks like something that would pop on my FYP, like whatever. And she was like, yeah, they are. And she was like, obviously some of her close friends like know that it's her. Or she was like, if you're close enough to me, you could see them and probably know that it's me. But she was like, if somebody's, like she said, like, yes, the journal entries are hers. Like they're real. But she was like, if somebody reads it and it's about them, then it's just like, she was like, that's just how I feel about it. Like I'm not going to apologize for how I feel about something. My feelings are valid. And I love that. I was like, I really like, I don't know. I was like, you sharing your journal entries on the internet is crazy. Like, I'm sure it's not everything she's ever written. I'm sure she like knows what she's putting out there and stuff and picks certain pages or whatever. But I was like, I really love the authenticity of that. Even if it's not associated with her name or who she is. I love the vulnerability to just be like, fuck it. These are my feelings and I'm not apologizing for them. And I have every right to feel the way that I feel. And I love that. And I would like to practice that more. I think as long as we're not being offensive, as long as we're not like villainizing anybody else, and I try not to mention names on here, right? Because I'm not trying to get sued for defamation. But at the same time, like, these are very real feelings. And I think, like, we know, right? Like, as a baseline, mental health, all feelings are valid, right? Do we really mean that when we say that? Because if we really mean that all feelings are valid, everyone's feelings are valid, then I should be able to make an episode called Mommy Issues. That video is valid. My feelings are valid. And I said in that video, and like, I didn't really say it in the last, but like, I'm not trying to villainize my mom or make anybody hate her or see her differently. I'm just trying to share my story and get, other people who may have a poor relationship with their mom. Maybe they found a safe space with me. Maybe they find connection with me. Maybe they, feel a little bit less alone in that kind of struggle. And maybe they, resonate with some of those feelings. And I think that's all very valid. So, I guess this video isn't really a how-to to be your authentic self on the internet. Maybe it's a more like how I'm attempting to do that, where I feel like it's gotten me so far. Not very far, but I'm not fucking done yet. So, that's today's episode. Is I never want to become clickbaity, and I want everything I put out on the internet to be me. No matter how stupid or whatever the fuck. I don't want it to be like a curated thing, because this is who I am. Like, this is my podcast. This is what I talk about. This is my fucking shit. This is my life. Like, this is my personal experience. One of my friends mentioned, actually, maybe going back to like the first season and listening to some episodes, which I should do. But to be honest with y'all, I really, I don't like to hear myself yap. Somebody asked me, they were like, do you go back and listen to your episodes or like before you upload? And I was like, I listen to every episode once before it goes out. And that's while I'm editing. And I don't watch it back. They're so long. Like, I'm like, this girl fucking yaps. And don't get me wrong, I love to yap, but like, I have so much to say, and it's a lot. So, and I've already had these thoughts like a million times in my head before they get out into the video. And then I go through them again as I'm recording. And then I go through them again as I edit. I'm like, I don't want to hear my own fucking like thoughts and concepts and theories for fucking 5 times over. No, fuck that. So that's what I've got for you today. If you feel like you're struggling with being authentic on the internet, I just challenge you to ask yourself, like, why? When you're recording, when you're making a decision, when you're putting on a certain outfit to record, ask yourself why. And I do think it's important to have your niche, right? Call her daddy. She's always in her sweatsuit. That's her niche. There's another podcaster, I can't think of her name, I think, who always has a red lip. That's her niche. And I think if that's your thing, and if you never made content, you'd still be doing that, right? Call her daddy would still always be wearing a sweatsuit. The red lip girl would always be wearing her red lip. That's authenticity. It's just being yourself and not making decisions based on other people looking at you, making decisions based on this is who I fucking am, and like, take it or leave it, So if you are struggling with that, I'm right there with you. I think we all kind of are partially. But I'm challenging you this week to be your authentic self on the internet and post that fucking video, post that idea, fucking post the picture, whatever you're thinking, whatever just came to your head when I said that. Throw it up there. Like, put it on the internet, put it out there for the world to see. If it's in your mind as an idea to throw out there, there's a reason for it. If it's in your heart, if it's in your soul to share it with the world, there's a reason for that. So I will see you on the next one. That's all I've got for you, because this shit is hard.